What up, you guys? Welcome to the second half of Westward Signs. We're upstairs now in this creepy-ass house that we live in. This is the house where somebody said they saw my girlfriend walking upstairs when it really wasn't her. She, came out of somewhere else and was like, "What are you guys doing up here?" Like, we saw you come up here. And then also, when my girlfriend's sister was a little girl, they saw her peeking through the window, and it wasn't, like...
That was a long time ago, or what?
Yeah.
Oh, well, Paulina was a little girl, 3 years ago?
Like
4 months ago? Yeah, dude, it's crazy, man. I just called into the Real Ghost Stories to tell stories about my house, but I was pretty drunk, so they're probably not gonna air it, or they probably will air. Either way, it's a win-win situation. If they don't air it, I'm like, sweet. If they do, I'm like, sweet.
Not only that, but it's like whenever you're not talking to somebody, it's just a recording. It's hard to.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I should have been telling one of you.
Using your actual recording, then you feel bad if you didn't put some pizzazz in there.
I know. I'm like, oh, I sound like a fucking retard, man.
And then,
So Clifford Stone, did you know him personally, James?
I knew him pretty well. I worked with him, and I was always out there, talking to him.
If you guys don't know who Clifford Stone is, look him up. He's like a whistleblower on the whole Roswell UFO thing. It's pretty crazy.
Not the Roswell UFO stuff.
Really? I thought.
Yeah,
well,
he wasn't involved in that. He was involved in other stuff, but yeah, he helps. Unlock old files that we have the right.
No. Trust me, he was working for the Army during that thing, man.
Yeah, but that's what he's working at right now. Is he's uncensoring all these files.
He has this crazy story about he saw an actual alien. It's crazy, man. And I saw this thing that he had it said Clifford Stone on telepathy. And then Nancy has this story that she swore Clifford read her mind.
Really?
What was that story?
We were gonna go somewhere, we were gonna do something dumb that day. We were gonna party our asses off or something, and then he was, I don't know, he was just like, "Hey, don't go too crazy on that party." And I was like,
well, you could have heard it by the grapevine.
No, dude, I wasn't the popular type to be telling everybody there's a party. I just went to go pick up my homie. I wasn't even
He gave you a look yeah.
That's crazy,
I heard,
man.
Didn't he say he was involved with something about communicating with them?
Yeah, he was one of the few that could communicate.
That's fucking
and
crazy.
then telepathically.
He had one as a friend when he was younger.
That's crazy, man. Dude, living in Roswell, that whole alien thing. You know what's crazy? We have two stories. You want to turn that AC on, man?
Really?
It's all right.
Yeah, go ahead. It's fine.
Not that loud.
So, we have two alien stories. When we were little kids, we remember the story of...
Maybe go off.
What? Oh, so when we were little kids living in Roswell, we used to live here in 97 or something like that. My mom had the story that she went outside because the dogs were barking really, really loud, and then she went outside and saw a light take off, a light, bright ass light take off, and she was like, I don't know what it was, but that was really, really freaky, and it was here in Roswell that it happened.
Yeah.
And then while we were living here, my brother had this story that she was up in the middle of the night, we saw a light or something like that, and then we went to her room. Awake, she was in her bed, but she was sitting up, so we got all freaked out. And and we kind of think she got possessed, but I don't know,
or abducted.
Yeah, abducted. Crazy ass shit. My brother has that.
Show me where the alien touched you.
My brother has that story about the shed and stuff, he was living in the garage, and then he heard a noise. Yeah,
Did you guys see that thing glowing over there in the crane? No, don't put the light there. Turn off all the lights.
I saw something over there. A little bit of a light.
Yeah, what? It's not the reflection from the light.
I was thinking it was just my eyes still adjusting to the darkness.
I was like, is it my fucking eyes?
Yeah, there is a glowing.
You see it?
Yeah, there's lights or something.
No, one dot's glowing more than the rest.
I don't know. This room is pretty creepy. Yeah, but so anyway, so that story. So my brother, he was sleeping in the garage, and then he heard like a banging noise or something like that, and then he was like, "What the fuck?" And then he knocked on the door, and he was like, "Hey, let me in." I think somebody was like knocking outside, and they didn't want to let him in because he knocked on the back door of the regular house where my aunt was staying.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Why is there? There's been banging for like an hour outside." And he's like, "What the fuck are you talking about? I just heard banging and I just woke up." She's like, "No, we've been hearing banging for like hours." Like, what the fuck? He heard like one bang and he woke up, and he's like a light sleeper, you know? It's crazy, man. Aliens. Dude, fuck, dude. I really believe in aliens, man.
There's so much weird stories between the two that they might be connected in some weird way.
Like, what do you mean?
Like aliens and like ghosts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
My brother has that theory too, man.
The ones from another dimension or something.
Yeah, it's like they come to pick up people or something. I don't know.
We're just collecting
some souls.
The souls of the dead, and
some
we
guys,
use
some
them
people,
as fuel.
We just kind of grind up their bones and, like, you know, just kind of recycle
we just,
them.
like, suck out the inner soul of the soul. And we use that for our diesel trucks.
Oh, yeah, I was going to tell you that one.
Yes, we make plastic out of.
Remember that house I'm always pointing at? Like, we passed by, it's like across the street from the historical museum fucking place, and there's that 2-story house over there.
Right.
That fucking house. I remember over there, like, when we were kids, my friend used to live there. They, like, rented it out, and there was some people that lived there that didn't want us to go to this back room. Like, they were so, like, get the hell away from this room. It was crazy. And, like, I remember he got this basketball thing, you know, the ones that you shoot it was actual, like, the ones that you play at, like, fucking, at, like, you know, arcades and shit, you know, where you shoot the ball and it goes down the little ramp thing and comes back to you. Like, he got, like, one of those, and I remember one day, like, you had to tug the net for it to score. Like, that's how it scored. It had, like, this little thing under the rim where it, like, tugged the net and it would, the scoreboard would go. I remember one day it, like, started scoring. The scoreboard just kept, like, dee dee dee. I remember that would fucking freaked us out one day.
What?
That
is
was
pretty
like,
creepy.
yeah, in that house, like, I remember people had stories about that house. And, his mom had a party there once. And there was a guy, one of her friends was in one of the rooms that nobody stayed in. There were like fucking 4 rooms, 5 rooms in that house, and there was only like 2 kids. And he was in the one room nobody stayed at, and he was all drunk as fuck in there, and he just started yelling at somebody, like as if he was in there with somebody. And everybody's like, what the fuck is wrong with him, you know? And they walked in there, and he was like if he was in there with somebody yelling at somebody. And like the next day, I don't think he remembered it at all or anything. But it was crazy because they could have swore it was like somebody in there with him. Like, he was like, the fuck away from me kind of shit.
What the fuck?
Like he was yelling at a fly.
That's like some...
Fuck away from me, I'm trying to sleep.
That's Haley Joel Osment shit, man.
Yeah.
Dude, I think it's really weird, man. There's a lot of, like, skeptics out there, man, but once you finally do...
Like James.
Well, yeah, James...
I'm a partial
like, you're
skeptic.
the biggest one.
I don't want to be fooled.
You can't
So
really call
if you
yourself...
analyze
a
the hell
joke.
out of everything, then yeah, I've seen times where I'm like, okay, that's hard to explain.
You know what it is? It's like, if you haven't had a experience yourself, you feel bad about saying that you believe in it because you haven't seen it. It's almost like telling somebody that has kids that what to do with their kids. It's like, how the fuck do you know? You never, you know. Like, if you almost don't want to offend them by saying, oh yeah, I know, but I never saw anything.
I swear,
it almost
man.
makes you sound gullible. Like,
I think if I saw something, I would probably analyze it forever. Like, I would never let it go. It would be
just try to explain it
I
away.
would constantly be like, I don't know.
There's just some things you can't explain, man.
I mean,
I don't know, man. To wrap it up, man, the truth is out there. Alright, for episode 25, I'm Peter West.
I'm James.
And over here we got Larry Science. Stay safe out there, guys. And don't be afraid to use your Ouija boards. Call the devil.